here we are with the most celebrated person who is always wanted by all the people in the financial circle, not just in India, throughout the globe. And here we have the 23rd Governor of India, the RBI Governor of India, Dr. Raghuram Rajan. Hello, sir.
Hi.
And I just couldn't resist asking this question. I know that you're from Tamil background and everything, sir. That's so nice to hear and so pleasant to hear, sir. And one of the first question I always wanted to ask is that after coming to after taking up the tenure, you had a lot of agendas, lot of points in your agendas. One was to stabilize the currency, one was to reduce inflation, and I hope all the check boxes are getting ticked. Now,
well, that's for the people outside outside the RBI to see. But I think collectively we've had some success, the RBI and the government working together, and I think you can hear it in the investor interest. So far so good, but there's a lot of work to be done, and that's where I think you come to a place like Sweden and they say you've got fantastic growth, and I say we'll trade our growth anytime for your level of GDP. So your per capita GDP is so much higher.
Yeah.
That's our objective. So it's certainly not going to be achieved in my lifetime, but hopefully in your lifetime.
That can be true. So in that aspect, what is the next point in your agenda?
I think both the government and the bank are trying to build on this macro stability, and one of the important actions we have to take is, or one of the important outcomes we need is stronger growth, which means revitalizing those projects that have been stalled, getting new investment on the ground. There's the railways is planning some big investments. There are the industrial corridors which are underway. So we need to make this reality. And then there are the longer term framework reforms. Most immediately land acquisition and the goods and services tax. From our side it would be getting a proper cleanup of bank balance sheets, of getting the inflation objective properly entrenched and accepted widely, and also creating a variety of institutional structures to make sure that we do it effectively.
You said that you have to have the right proper balance of bank balance and stuff like that for many people. I have heard that recently. I have come to know that out of the people who are eligible to pay taxes, I'm not sure about the exact number, but I think 50% of them are trying to evade the tax and the black money stuffs again. What is your agenda?
Yeah, I don't know what is the fraction of evasion. What I do know is there are a very small number of people who accept that they make an income of more than £1 crore. But if you look around Mumbai, you would say pretty much everybody in that group should either be in Mumbai or that number is not correct. Our tax rates are very reasonable. The highest marginal tax rate is 31-32%. Maybe a little more if you make over if you're a mega earner. But nowhere near the tax rates that are there in this country or in the US. And so maybe you could justify evading when the marginal tax rate was 96%. When it is 30-some%, it's much harder to justify under any circumstance. And given that most of the people evading these taxes are well-to-do and benefit tremendously from the roads, from the security, from defense, they should pay the due.
Exactly, because I have been here for 1 year in Sweden, and as far as I've spoken with people, many people say that I have confidence in the government, so I don't mind paying 50%, half of what I earn to the government. But I don't think in India we have that confidence that people have.
Well, it's chicken and egg, right? It's chicken and egg. If you don't pay enough, you will get the government that you pay for. So, yes, there are a number of really respectable, respect-worthy civil servants who are doing a fantastic job under trying circumstances, but there are a number who are not. And the wider public comes into contact with a number of bureaucrats who makes them, feel that they're not getting appropriate service. At the same time, if we don't attract better talent into government by paying appropriate salaries, this situation will continue. So where do you break the chicken and egg argument? I'm not paying because government is lousy, versus because you're not paying, government has to continue being ineffective. So we have to break the link somewhere. I don't think money is the only reason people come to government, but it is a factor if you are underpaying. Now typically, and this is an interesting factor, typically governments tend to overpay at the lower level and underpay at the more senior level. And that's a bad structure relative to the private sector. Senior officers get more than the lower level, but they get underpaid relative to similar capable people. And that is problematic because at the level where you have more influence over outcomes, you're getting people who are not of the same.
So either the government has to start paying more, or either the citizens have to start paying more taxes.
I think both need to be done. That over time, Singapore, for example, of course, that's a special state, but top level ministers and high level bureaucrats get paid almost as much, if not as much, as the private sector. Of course, it's a very, very strong filtering system where only the best make it there. I don't think we can blindly adopt another country's system, but I think that overall it would be fair to say that both statements are true. India's government doesn't absorb, is not as costly as the governments elsewhere, but also that people feel they deserve more in terms of government service or high quality of government service. We need to work on both.
And so with respect to inflation and the other stuff, since I've been in Europe, I see that the euro currency has been bought, and which is like a stable currency, which is now, they've created the eurozone. Many countries are joining the eurozone. And is there something like that in Indian agenda, where the new currency is stable?
First, when you say stable, remember the euro was at 134, 135 to the dollar, and it went down to 105 or 106. It's a big move. So there are very few currencies which are rock solid stable. In fact, the rupee has been one of the more stable currencies in the world. If you look at, say, relative to the dollar, it has been quite close to tracking the dollar, even though we don't have a dollar peg or intend to have a dollar peg.
But compared to last 5-6 years, there has been 50% decrease in the rupee value.
50%, I don't know, but remember that we also have a higher inflation rate. The world has been in deflation, we've had higher inflation. If the rupee's nominal value doesn't adjust for the higher inflation, we'll soon find that nobody's buying anything that we produce. So if you have higher inflation, your currency should depreciate by the amount of your inflation differential if you are to remain competitive. Now, that said, I mean, your question was, do we have
new currency,
a currency area in mind? The question is, who with? And we've seen the problems with the euro area is that if you don't have control over fiscal policy, if you don't have common banking supervision, you don't have a willingness to transfer funds from one area to another as if it's one country, it can create problems in managing common currency. So I think we have our hands full in having a common currency for the Indian So subcontinent,
subcontinent.
our own for
Yeah,
India.
it's like in a euro
I
currency.
mean, take Uttar Pradesh. It's the size of Brazil. Take Maharashtra. It's probably the size of France. So we have plenty of countries within our country. So managing a common currency is difficult enough without adding more countries.
Yeah, actually adding to him, like, now with this BRICS bank forming and, Shanghai being the headquarters for the new BRICS bank, right? And I think Kamath is moving there. So, yeah, in Asian Currency Union or something, the trade between the partners will be facilitated, right? So, will it help in, more?
I think the BRICS Bank is focused more on investment, but not so much an attempt to create a common currency.
Yeah, it's like more of an investment bank with the BRICS partners.
Right.
And coming to the other question is, it might not happen in the recent future, but maybe a long term, maybe 50 or 60 years, where I see that many minings and bitcoins have been coming into the scenario. What do you think about that?
We have been counseling about Bitcoin, just warning people that it's not a stable, likely to be a stable currency and has some issues. But we have to watch electronic currency. Over time, it may become a means of exchange. I, at this point, feel that it will have the same issues that any currency has, which is who's supporting its value and how to ensure that its value. I mean, both are problematic. Any statement that you will only increase it at a particular pace, the production of that currency, because if that currency becomes popular, then you will see a rise in the value of that currency. And that could become problematic over time if that rise becomes a speculative rise and then it crashes, as happened with Bitcoin. But the flip side is also problematic. If there's no constraint on creating that currency, then you can create inflation in that currency and reduce the value, debase the value. This is what, in the past a number of countries have done. So I don't think we get away from the problem of managing the currency and managing its value, which is really what job we central bankers do.
Actually, not taking up much of your time, one last question would be, what do you suggest for the people like me, like the youth who study abroad and who wants to work outside, earn there, send the money back to India, or they want to start a business here in India and then?
Those are two different things. If you want to work outside and send money to India, we have lots of facilities. We hope to create more for you to remit money. So you're a valued investor. We give you exalted status. We call you NRI investors. You have access to a bunch of facilities, and I think India has benefited tremendously from the diaspora that has invested back in India or remitted money to friends and relatives.
So there should be an equal mix of people who wants to go abroad also, money coming into the country from outside.
Look. Let me be clear. I mean, for most people, India would be better off if they brought their talents back to India. Right?
Agreed, 100%.
The country would be better off. That said, I don't think we should see people who have left the country, I was one of them, as harming the country in any way. They're making a free choice. And they help the country in many ways, including creating an image of the country outside, which a lot of people respect the Indians that they see outside. They do the country proud. But also, as you said, remitting money. But I don't think we should see NRIs primarily as piggy banks to send money back. They're also repositories of knowledge, of connections, of spreading the India message outside. So I think that is very valuable, and I would urge them to continue doing that. But that said, I would say that for many professionals outside or entrepreneurs, their talents are talents that India also means that India is certainly, despite the large number of people we have, not overabundant in
Knowledge.
skills. We need more skills, and we have plenty of work, both for those skilled people we have, as well as skilled people who come.
Having said, I think that would have had a lot of insights and value to the people who are going to listen to this. And thank you so much for the time and
Most welcome.
answers that you've given.
Most welcome.
Thank you.